Not too long ago, Zoombinis enjoyed the good life. Though they all looked slightly different eyes, noses, hair, feet, such differences meant nothing to the Zoombinis. And so they lived happily on Zoombini Isle, making small, useful products which were prized the world over. The Zoombinis had a sense of fulfillment and inner peace, not to mention healthy bank accounts. Then one day, who should show up but the Bloats? The Bloats offered to help the Zoombinis grow their businesses, expand their trade routes, and improve their quality of life. Being trusting sorts, the Zoombinis agreed. But before long, which is 3 months later, the Bloats have taken over everything. Stealing profits, canceling holidays, piling on work. The Zoombinis were getting pretty stressed out. Once again, the sun was setting over the island, but this time it was hidden behind a thick cloud of smog. Seeing the sky at all had become a rare event. For months now, the island had been shrouded in almost perpetual darkness. Saetwo was hovering on top of the hill once more, gazing morosely out at her home. Since the Bloats had taken over everything, it was hardly even recognizable anymore. The most glaring difference was a huge stone fortress that had been erected on a cliff near the shore, intended for the Bloats to use to watch over the harbor. But even the harbor had fallen into disarray. Only the Bloats were allowed to use it, and they obviously did not know how to take care of it. Worst of all, though, was the island itself. Under their new management, the Zoombinis were producing at almost 3 times the rate they had been before. But the cost was terrible. The island's natural resources had rapidly been depleted, and the newly built factories spewed toxic waste into the air. Any trees that hadn't been chopped down had withered and died in the inhospitable atmosphere. The water was murky and polluted. The grass was brown and sickly. And of course, the sky was perpetually dark.
I remember when you used to be able to watch the sunset from up here. I would come up here every day I got the chance.
Saetwo, as much as I would like to stand here and listen to your life story, we have a quota to fill, so I suggest you move it.
Hey, boss. Are you sure you can't carry up your own stuff?
Positive. Now shut up and stop slacking.
Ooh, Xekrai, I don't believe you. You're such a jerk. Are you ever nice to anyone?
Did I ask for your opinion? Just keep it to yourself, okay?
As he stormed off down the hill, with the others dutifully following him, Saetwo watched after him and lowered her head in guilt. If Xekrai had disliked her before, he hated her now. But he had a reason. They had found Idwe's body inside the town hall the morning after the Bloats had taken over, nearly bled dry. The sight had been horrifying, but almost more frightening was how Xekrai had reacted. Saetwo had never in her life seen him so devastated, so heartbroken. She wouldn't have thought he was capable of feeling such emotion. He had thrown himself over his father and pleaded with him to live, but there was nothing anyone could do. Idwe died a few hours later. As soon as Xekrai had felt able to speak again, the first person he had spoken to was Saetwo.
This is all your fault! If you hadn't come bursting in like that, they wouldn't have killed him!
Well, what would you have done? Said nothing? I had to warn everybody. How was I supposed to know what would happen?
Eventually, their argument had become so violent that Echae had to separate them. Saetwo had tried to forget about it since then, but Xekrai couldn't let it go. And even now, his animosity towards her was as fierce as ever. She could hardly blame him. In truth, she felt awful about her part in the mayor's death, but she would never let him know that. She continued to reflect upon this as she and the others made their way down the hill.
Hey! Who's that guy coming over here? Isn't that Echae? He sure looks like he's in a hurry.
Huh?
Guys, come down here! You have to hear this!
Okay. We'll be right down. Come on, Iake. Let's pick up the pace. Those shovels don't carry themselves.
Just leave your stuff. Hurry before someone sees us.
Okay, Echae. What's this all about?
Okay, get this. The adults want to hold a big meeting in the basement tonight. They think they know a way we can deal with the bloats.
Really? Shh! Go on, Echae.
Right. They didn't tell me anything else, in case they got overheard. They just said everybody should meet in the basement at 2 a.m. That's way after the bloat's night shift is over. They'll all be asleep by then. Of course, I'm talking about the bloats who stand along the battlements on top of the fortress, so they could watch us and make sure we were doing our jobs. But because they're lazy, they don't stay up any later than 10 at night. I mean, we've tried to rebel against the bloats a bunch of times, but we failed. I mean, the bloats have always awakened in time to subdue us quickly. So let's see if this new plan of the adults actually works this time.
Is this plan actually going to work?
Well, they sounded pretty confident. I think they thought of something totally new this time. Anyway, tell everyone you know. They want everybody to be at this meeting, okay?
Alright, loser. We'll do what you want. But this better not be a waste of time.
See you guys there, but in the meantime, keep working so the bloats don't suspect anything.
Okay, you guys heard him. 2 o'clock sharp in the basement. But till then, we have to keep working. I assume you know what that means. And would it kill you not to drop my stuff so hard? You're gonna scratch up my shovel.
Sure thing, boss!
The basement was a huge cavernous room located underneath the fortress, made entirely of stone and lit by the occasional hanging brazier. It was meant to store the bloat's extra rations, but since the town hall had fallen into dilapidation, the Zoombinis had secretly used it as their meeting place whenever there was something important to discuss.
It must be really important if they want the entire island to be here.
So your mom wouldn't even tell you anything about this?
Nah, she said I had to wait just like everyone else. Ugh, the way she talks, you'd think I wanted to have an early dessert or something.
Okay, everyone, settle down. Attention! Quiet! We're glad you could all make it. As you're aware by now, my colleagues and I have finally devised a way to do away with the bloats. This entire time we have been trying to get them to leave, and it hasn't worked. We now believe we've been going about this the entirely wrong way. We are the ones who are going to leave.
leave Zoombini Isle.
But we've always lived here. Where else can we go? Kill Geeldaru!
What did you say?
Oh, sorry. I got caught up in a moment.
People, please! We have discussed this matter very seriously, and we believe it's the best option left to us. The Bloats have destroyed Zoombini Isle. It's only a matter of time until it can't support life anymore.
In fact, that's why we think the Bloats came here in the first place. We suspect that they make a living out of this. They invade islands, enslave the native race, then work them until they've depleted the island of all its natural resources. Then they pull up and leave, look for somewhere else to invade, and leave the island for dead. That is why they travel so much and have so many maps.
So you think the Bloats are going to leave? Couldn't we just wait it out then?
We think, without a doubt, they are going to leave. But where will that leave us? Zoombini Isle is too far gone for us to save. Bloats or not, we'll all die if we stay here. Our only choice is to leave.
But where will we go? Funny you should ask. Flouquo, the map, please.
It's so big!
Not only that, it's close. We think if we tried to sail there, it would only take a week or so.
If it's so close, why haven't we been there before?
We've always avoided sailing in that direction because of the bad weather currents. Although that was obviously a mistake.
Obviously. Look at the size of it. Who knows how much business we've missed out on? Who knows how many people live there?
Well, we do know that the Bloats used to live there, but since they left, they're not likely to come back, which would make this land not only the closest place to sail to, but the safest.
Makes sense. The Bloats took our home, so why don't we take theirs?
We are all in agreement then? Do you all understand that leaving is our best strategy?
So when exactly were you thinking we would leave?
As soon as possible. I don't see why we couldn't start tomorrow night.
But there is one thing. We can't all leave at once. We would make too much noise and take too long, and the Bloats would stop us. Then we could never even attempt this again. We feel it would be safest to send off one boat every few days.
And we've all decided that the children should go first. Protecting our children has always been our top priority, and in this case it's no exception. If anyone gets away from here safely, it should be them.
Oh, but Mom, I want you to be there with me.
I know, sweetie, but I have to stay behind and help everyone else. We'll see each other again, don't worry. And anyway, Echae will be with you.
If I may interrupt, we have to wrap this up as soon as possible. We've hidden all of our boats about a mile south here. So tomorrow night the other leaders and I will sail one of them up here, right outside the fortress. Saetwo, get a group of your friends and meet by the shore at this time tomorrow night. We'll have you out of here as soon as possible. And don't worry, you will all get out of here eventually. I can't promise this will be easy, nor that it will be safe. But I can promise you that our new home is out there somewhere. With everyone's cooperation, we can make it a better home than Zoombini Isle ever was. Do you all understand? Good. Meeting adjourned.
Dajero was not a congenial bloat at the best of times, and at the worst, he was downright brutal. Part of this was simply his nature, although it didn't help that he had to get up at 5:30 in the morning every day for the early morning shift of watching Zoombinis at the fortress. It was about 5 to 6, and Dajero had just arrived at the fortress and was grumbling to himself about how far a walk it was, when suddenly he stopped dead. To his surprise, someone was already standing at the front door waiting for him. "Oh, it's you. What do you want?"
I thought you might like to know that the Zoombinis are planning an escape tonight.
"An escape? What are you talking about?"
You heard me. At 2 o'clock in the morning, they're gonna send off a group in one of their boats, right here in front of the fortress. And they're gonna keep doing it every few nights until this entire island is clear.
Man, those little blue guys never gave up, do they? Well, what do you think I should do about it?
You? Nothing. I wouldn't trust you to handle the situation. But I suggest you let your superiors know about this, and make sure there are about 20 of them here at 2 o'clock tonight.
Sure. Whatever you say. But
Now, you idiot.
Right, I'm gone!